Tracing, the original sin. Once you trace, there is no turning back, and you will forever be relegated to a place where no artist can ever return from. Twitter. And today, we are gonna do it. We're going to trace, and nobody's gonna stop me. My dream is to be in one of those cat and chat videos where she relegates my art as being traced. I'm going to post it, and I'm not gonna reference the original artist at all. I'm gonna claim all the rights to myself, and I'm gonna be denying all of the allegations thrown at me. Wow. Okay, that's pretty scary. That was a funny intro. Kidding aside though, I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with tracing, even if you're doing it outside of the realm of learning, as long as you're honest about it. The problem is exactly that, dishonesty that comes with most tracers, claiming the artwork for themselves. Personally, I don't really care if you made a beautiful painting that was traced, as long as you're honest about it. I've definitely have my fair share of traced artwork. I mean, we've all done it at some point in our career, right? And today, I'm going to show you how I would approach tracing to maximize our learning. But just as a little bit of warning though, I would not recommend this trick if you don't have an understanding of the fundamentals. The reason why is because tracing only teaches you the basics. It doesn't really teach you the why part of drawing, only the how part of it. And what I mean by this is if you really want to improve at drawing, you got to understand what you're actually drawing first, and ask the why and the what questions. Let me just use the hand example. If I wanted to draw a hand, first I got to understand what we identify as a hand. What are the things that makes up a hand? So I would learn the fingers and the knuckles and the palm. Where do they go, right? Things like that. And you get to learn this stuff. If you can do that, then I can promise you, you'll be able to draw a hand a lot more consistently. And if we want to extend this rule to something a lot more complex, like an engine, and ask ourselves, what is an engine? Then you learn what makes up an engine, then you'll be able to properly draw an engine. If you can do that, then you can break the rules in a way that makes it look more unique. You can then build a sci-fi engine that goes outer space, or maybe a medieval fantasy engine that's made out of magic. You get the point, right? And I don't believe that tracing will teach you that at all. It can, however, teach you techniques. And what I mean by that is the understanding on how the artist arrives at the completed painting. Okay, so first, I'm gonna teach you how not to do it, okay? If you want to post something that you can claim for yourself. Here, I have a painting from Dino, one of my favorite artists out there. And I just completely copied the line art here one-to-one. I think this is a good trick if you're just trying to learn, as when I was doing this, I actually ended up noticing some really cool and cute tricks that I might copy too. But this is something that you can't really claim for your own. This is not an original drawing, you just copied Dino's artwork. And sometimes you can probably get in trouble with that, so be careful. Okay, so now I'm just gonna do that again. This time, we'll start with the sketch of the same painting, trace its pose one-to-one. And then I'm going to move a few things around. This is why I said earlier that it's not a good exercise if you don't have a good grasp of the fundamentals, as the proper way to do it requires you to move things around so much that the original trace is unrecognizable. So now that we have a completely new pose, the next thing we're not going to do is copy the original character that this artist did. Instead, we're gonna make our own. And just for the sake of this video, I'm just gonna use my original character, Hikari. Okay, so now it looks completely different from the original painting that we traced it from. And this is something that you can now claim for yourself. And really, we just used the original painting kind of like a reference. I also went ahead and colored this painting, and later on I went and rendered it. I just wanted to demonstrate how different it is from the original trace painting that we took it from. At this point, can we really say that it's traced? You be the judge. And about references, the method is much the same. When I use references, I don't really copy the exact pose necessarily. I always change a few things here and there so that it's not too obvious that I just copied it one-to-one. And deviating from the reference can sometimes lead to something better. Plus, you're actually learning outside of the guide when you deviate from it. It's kind of like training wheels in a bicycle. When you were young, you needed them to train your muscles and your balance. But suddenly, one day, you just knew how to ride a bicycle. Or how about trying to learn the guitar? You start by learning basic chords first. And then you struggle for a little while, a few weeks here and there. But suddenly, you just wake up one day and realize that your hands actually know where to go. It's kind of a surprise, actually. It's surprised me when was trying to learn. Here's another way to trace, and in my opinion, this is probably really good for learning. Try tracing something one-to-one first, and then try to draw it again without tracing. Do your best to copy it as close as you can, and just have the reference picture right next to you. And then do that again without any reference and see what you come up with. Do that enough times until you get a better understanding on what you're actually drawing. Like I said in the beginning of the video, there's nothing inherently wrong with tracing as long as you're honest about it. And you at least need to deviate from the original drawing by more than 60%, give or take. To me, there is no wrong way to learn about art. Never be afraid or ashamed to use references if you're trying to learn something. Even pro artists still uses references. In fact, one of my art heroes, Frank Frazetta, used to take pictures of himself to use as a reference for his art. How cool is that? And I do this a lot when I'm having trouble drawing hands. Back to our painting, I wanted to take it even further by adding a background and a lighting scenario just to make it more unique. I didn't have to do this, but I wanted to show you guys what was possible if you wanted to trace and learn at the same time. Alright, I'm gonna change the mood a little bit because I'm gonna get into a more controversial topic, and that's about AI. Specifically, is it okay to trace AI or use it as a reference? And my answer to that is yes, of course. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. My only problem with AI is the fact that it actually steals art from other artists because it's just trained that way. But if you're just using AI as a learning tool and you want to learn from it, that's totally fine. There is a little bit of a caveat to this though, a warning so to say. Because AI actually makes a lot of unnoticeable mistakes. Mistakes that you might not notice in the surface, but if you look closer, you'll find a lot of them if you know what you're looking for. So do so with caution if you don't want your paintings to just have a lot of AI-isms. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of you that's going to disagree with that take. It is a divisive topic. And that's totally fine, by the way. There are plenty of schools of art that don't really necessarily agree with each other. There's a lot of conflicting ideologies within the art community. And there are always going to be artists that are purist and will always be against AI. I'm somewhat part of that too. But I also just want to draw something out of my own hands, and I don't really care about that topic. Do what you want. If you are an AI prompter and you want to call yourself an artist, go for it. I don't really care. I think this way because I recognize that there is no amount of AI that can ever replace the joy that I get from building something or drawing something from scratch. There's no amount of AI that can replace the pleasure I get from learning something new or solving a problem. I don't really believe that AI is the harbinger of the end of art or artist. Quite the opposite. I believe AI is a great filter, and in the long term, its presence is going to produce better artists. And I'm not talking about AI artists, I'm talking about real artists in a traditional sense. And I catch myself being a lot more careful with my drawings because of AI. I don't want to make the same mistakes as AI does, right? I mean, who does? And I think that's making me a better artist. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're like me and is absolutely obsessed with art, join my Discord server. You can reach other like-minded people there. It's still a very small community, and at the moment I am trying to grow it. The link is down in the description below. And of course, don't forget to like and subscribe. So let me leave you with this montage. Bye-bye.